All right, let's go. Huh? How is everybody doing? What do you got here? It's Friday, right? Yeah, that's right. It's Friday. Donna's gonna be here tonight. It was supposed to be high at 82 today. It feels like it's 150 degrees. Ugh, this summer. It's the middle of summer. Nothing's going on, but we got new hats. I got a new hat, right? If you didn't get a chance last night to watch the stream, Kyle and I did a stream opening up all the gifts that y'all have sent since, about midway through the playoffs and everything. So got a new hat. We got pucks, we got cards, we got shirts, we got a whole bunch of towels, like almost all of the towels from the rally towels. Got license plate holder. I got a lanyard. We got stuff for Leia, stuff for Donna. I got my championship sign. That was my gift to myself. Kyle didn't get me nothing. Just realized that I had to buy my own. Had to buy my own sign. Kyle, no gift from Kyle. That's okay. All right, how's everybody doing today? Yeah, what do we got? We got 9 people here. It's the middle of July. Thank you for the 9 people that made it so I'm not talking to myself. We might start taking some days off in the middle of the week, right? As long as there's nothing to talk about, we might start taking a day here or there, give everybody some downtime. Still doing stuff every day on the men's channel. Okay, let's see what we got. Yeah, scientists, it's the middle of July when the title is pick a subject. Yeah. You know what I mean? How many times can I go over the schedule again? But I figured it's Friday, so I didn't want to skip out today because usually Friday you all are in a kind of a frisky mood. And so we'll just see what comes up. Hey, Ted. You posted a question about the back-to-back champions board? Okay. Where is it? It must be on the. You mean like a comment? Okay, he'll be back at 12:30. All right, Ted. Hey, David, Simon, how we doing? Gotcha, David. Metal, how about our prospects? Who are we all excited for? Well, it's not Sordiff anymore. Honestly, Metal, that's a good question, but it's a tough question because where, like. If like Sachin or Divine or St. Martin or Volka or Cooper Black, like if any of our guys get in, bad things have happened to the Panthers. You know what I mean? It's like that's a good problem to have. But if you're one of those guys, at least sort of if they were like, all right, this kid's ready, let's get him somewhere where he could, that's the way to keep your prospects motivated. They know that if they get themselves ready, you'll move them to a team that can play them. Because there's no room at center for 5 years. The only room in the top 9 that's even remotely could possibly be available at some point is if we can't sign Luosterainen, which I'd be shocked if that happened, and I don't really know if any of our prospects are really like, you're going to just put them on the 4th line. It's possible. That may be the only way they're going to get in. Now, Horvolka might draw some time, but we did sign Bornfoot as well. So I think there's a better chance. I mean, there's no way Divine, St. Martin, Sachin, I mean, one of those guys at least is going to end up eventually getting moved because there's just no room. Simon, yeah, it was fun. Hey, Kenneth says, okay, pick a subject. Hypothetically, Bob goes down for 4 or 5 days before the deadline, out for the playoffs. You get all this cap space. What do you do? Who do you get? So, if that was to happen, honestly, the first thing I do is ask, has Spencer Knight signed with Chicago yet? That's the first question I ask. is, does Spencer Knight have a contract yet? And if not, I pick up the phone like the Budweiser commercials, and I say, well, that now beyond that imaginary fantasy land scenario, I mean, nobody in the East is helping us out, right? So who over, and the Gibson already got moved. I don't know. That's a really good question, Kenneth, because like, who's going to help us out, right? It's a good question. I have to think about that. Hey, JD. Oh, Ted. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm pretty sure it was Fanatics. I'm about 99.9% sure, Ted, it was Fanatics, because it was right out. It was like the night that they won the cup, and it was already there. So it has to be Fanatics. Yeah. But I literally bought it on the stream after we won the cup. Fly Guy says, how long until we get Brady and Tom Wilson? Well, wouldn't that piss off the NHL if something happened to Marchand and we just went and got Tom Wilson, right? I say we just, if Washington looks like crap, we just get Ovechkin for his last year so he can win a cup too. I mean, why not? Gotcha, Ted. Simon, the weekend schedule, I don't have anything on the books right now. Donna and I going tomorrow to see her mom. Anything could happen. We could randomly go on tonight with inappropriate conversations. We might do it tomorrow night, or we might not be able to do it at all. I have to play it totally by ear right now. And unless something happens, the only content that'll be coming out this weekend is on the men's channel. You know, it's middle of July. Fly Guy, yeah, exactly. Wilmer too, right? Saul says, I saw that Chucky may be out until after Christmas break. Wondering how true that is. In that case, Rodriguez stays for now. I think it's just going to be played along over and over. I just don't think they're going to end up moving Rodriguez. I really don't. I don't know how that's all going to manifest, but I just don't really think they're going to end up moving him. Hey, Bex. Colin, how we doing, bud? So Two Cats thinks the Rangers will have a bounce back year and will be the team to stop the Panthers from three-peating. Woo! That's a hot take. That's a hot take. Now Igor certainly is capable, but I'm not so sure I trust the roster of the Rangers at this point. Fly says, I'm honestly more interested in reacquiring Stolars. Right, but Toronto's not going to trade him to us. Like if Bobrovsky went down, Toronto's not going to be like, hey, do you guys need a goalie? They're going to be like, you know what I mean? They'll be dancing in the streets. Hey, babe. I miss Jaws. You're at work on lunch. Good stuff. JD says, I just got a $20 signed Spencer Knight picture. That's cool. We just sold a $15 signed Eetu Luosterainen card. I got to ship that out today. Ted, you probably saw one on Amazon after a few days, but the one I bought was on Fanatics because it was the first night. Metal says, how do I think the Panthers-Oilers series go if you flip the goalies? Bob on Edmonton, Skinner on Florida. Oh. That's tough because Bobrovsky made a lot of saves early in games that Skinner did not, and that changed a lot of the – that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think Zito would be fired for having Skinner at goal. Gotcha, Ted. Yeah, Cats, the Winter Classic jerseys are going to go crazy. No doubt. No doubt about that. Kenneth says, I chose Bob because if you think you could win, I think you could win if you lose any of your forwards. But with Bob, it'd be tough. Absolutely. So there's your information right there. Ms. Shaw says Saturday night inappropriate conversation, maybe tonight. We'll see, right? Yeah, inappropriate conversion. I missed that. Talk to text, gotcha. Inappropriate conversion is far different than inappropriate conversation. So there you go. You know, we got to go by Donna's schedule. She's the one that works all week. I just sit around and talk to you guys. Pateltron, where man? Come on, Jaws. Pateltron says, I think the Marchand trade is the only time South Florida fans were saying thank you, Boston. Otherwise, we can't stand each other. Yeah. The Bruins don't have a good playoff history against Florida. Remember, we beat them to get, they were our first playoff series win. Ted, yeah, he's going to be out for a while. It's just a matter of when he comes back and what happens. So Mythical says, considering the amount of success we've had, why do you think more teams haven't copied our coaching philosophy and play style more? I don't think they have the personnel. I say it all the time that the key to everything, that's why I wanted Bennett to stay. So much of the key is that Lundell third line, because there's just not another line in the NHL on the third line that can match up with them and have success. And Lundell and Luostarinen are so good defensively. You put them out there against McDavid and Draisaitl, and they're going to do fantastic for the most part. And over the course of a season and everything, that just grinds other teams down. And it was just a perfect storm of drafting Lundell, but having guys ahead of him, and then getting Luostarinen. Remember, Luostarinen was the Canes guy. We got him in the Trocheck trade. And to me, that's just the key. Like, you can emulate the style, but the talent that they have on that third line, it just destroys the other team's matchups. And unless you have that kind of a talent imbalance, I just don't think you're going to have the same results as the Panthers do. Lil J thinks Boston has a better chance of making it than the Rangers. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know that, I think Montreal's going to be better. Ottawa, you don't know. Detroit's not that far off. Columbus wasn't that far off. It's getting tighter. Fly Guy, yeah, this is Stolar's last year in the contract. Yeah. Mrs. Jaws, I haven't gone to the store yet. I'm going to the store in the afternoon. I got you covered. No, I did something I never do. I made myself a list. I'm going to the store with a list. I got to stay on my toes or I'll get replaced. Simon, I'm very happy with the schedule, man. Very happy with it. Frank says, when are we going to trade Erod for McDavid? The deal is basically done. We just got to get Edmonton to retain all the salary. And, it's got to be a sign-in trade. So they sign McDavid for 8x15. They get Erod, and they retain 75% of the salary. I don't even think that's legal. I think the most you can retain is 50%, right? We can make that work. We'll find a way to make that work. Sunshine, yeah. Well, technically, if you look at Puckpedia, he's technically already on LTIR. So, no, that's fine, bud. JD, no, they have not announced, they haven't put put out the Winter Classic jerseys yet. They haven't done it yet. Donna says it's the team chemistry. That too. Hey, thank you, Frank. Thank you, bud. Come on. Hey, thank you, Frank. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, brother. All right. He says, someone educate me if I'm wrong, but don't we gain cap space just by paying our players their regular salaries and bonuses through the year? We might not trade anyone, just might not be able to make a trade come the deadline. Well, the only way we won't have to move anybody is if Chucky is on LTIR or somebody else that has a high enough salary goes on LTIR. What you're thinking of, and I don't know the exact way that it works, but I think what you're thinking of is that when you trade for a player at the deadline, it's like you're not taking on their whole hit. You're taking on like the prorated, what's left of their salary. You know what I mean? So like if you trade for, Seth Jones, we didn't immediately, I don't believe we got immediately dinged for the full 7.5. I think that's what you're thinking about. Somebody can educate me on that. But in terms of what it boils down to is if Chucky's on LTIR, we don't have to move anybody. If a week before Chucky comes off LTIR, if Ekblad twists his ankle and he goes on LTIR to the playoffs, we don't have to move anybody. But yeah, if Chucky's on LTIR, we will have space to make a move at the trade deadline. If he's like out for the year, but that's obviously a big if. JD, the team picture just came in. Nice. Hey, Dietrich. They lost a beer league game they hopped on. I did not see that. That's wild. How come? I wish I would have known about that. That's funny. David says, since it's the last year we can do it, should we LTIR whoever is more tired a month or so before the playoffs and lose? If the loophole exists, silly not to use it. Sure. I mean, yeah. That's my. If I'm Zito, that's my plan. If I'm Zito, I've already got it planned out. Dietrich, I'll have to see that. Kenneth, the answer to a question from just above. Let me see what we got. I must have missed it during okay. If I played 3-on-3 road hot, if you played a 3-on-3 road hockey game with 4 teams, each of Florida's line was a team who win it. So if you played 3-on-3 with 4 teams, and each of Florida's lines was a team, who would win? That is tough. That is a really tough question. But if it's 3-on-3, you're going to go with the speed. So that's a hard question. That's a good question because I kind of want to say Bennett, Samoskevich, Tkachuk. Now, I know Tkachuk's not the fastest guy, but I think Bennett and Samoskevich, I think that pair is faster than any of the other pairs. Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe. Now you got 2 Selkies basically up top. And then with Lundell, Lusterin, and Marchand, you can't count Marchand out. That's really tough. I would probably think Bennett, Samoskevich, Tkachuk because I think Bennett and Samoskevich would be able to use their little bit of a speed advantage. It's hard not to pick Barkov and Reinhart, but that's a good question. That's a tough answer. David, you think Sasha's line win? So Meadow says first or third line. David says Sasha can absolutely dominate 3-on-3, never get the puck from him. Right. I mean, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a tough one. That is a tough question. No, nobody, meanwhile, Nosek and Greer and Gadjevich are like, we'll just plow over you and take the puck. Right? Yeah, Simon. So I'm gonna get to I can't talk. I'm gonna get to the gym today, but I didn't get fishing today. It's so humid. I mean, it is like oppressively humid. You guys in Florida think you know humidity. I'm telling you, I'm born and raised in Miami. You not felt humidity like this on the really bad days, yeah, on the really bad days, but it has just been like go outside and just like, yeah, it's been hot, humid, and every night it's been like massive storms and lightning and wind. We've had tornado warnings because it's just so damn hot and humid, and that's very unusual for here. Like maybe, like we've had more thunderstorms this year than I think I had in the 9 years in this house combined. Yeah, we've had more thunderstorms this year than in the 9 previous years combined. It's been like every night for weeks now. JD, I look, man, I was born and raised in Miami. I that's all I can say is I was born and raised in Miami, man. I used to fish in the Everglades, Lake Okeechobee. I've been in the middle of this state on the worst days, and I just never felt anything like it's been like the last 2 or 3 weeks here. Ken says, come to Canada. I haven't cut my grass for a month. It's great. Dude, Donna was here. I cut the grass on Saturday last week. I had to cut it yesterday because it's just so thick. Colin, you're done with the changes for the graphics? Gotcha. Okay, bud. David says it's been breezy, so not so bad. Yeah, when it's hey, look, I won't be complaining. In 2 weeks, by the time my birthday rolls around the 3rd week of August, it'll be like 82, 65 at night. So I'm not complaining, but just I haven't been able to get out fishing because I went out there to one time with this humidity, and I'm like struggling out there. I'm like, I don't need to do this to myself. I got August, September, October when the weather's nice and be plenty of fish. Plus, I got to get out in the kayak. So maybe next week it looks like we're supposed to have some good weather. So I was thinking about getting out there today, but it's just too humid. It's just so damn uncomfortable. All right, babe, get back to work. I love you. Huh? Don't do anything I would do. Kenneth, that's so interesting that you bring that up because I watched a video this morning. Did you get that idea? Because did a video show up in your feed? Because I think Hectic Hockey is the channel, and he had a whole video on the Michigan. So I'm just wondering if you got that, if that's why you brought that up. Yeah, exactly. It's good advice, babe. Don't do anything I would do. Yeah. Who would be the first Panther to attempt it? I mean, hell, I would say Sam Miskevich, but can you imagine if he did that and it didn't work out? Maurice would bench him for a month. I'd love to see Barkov do it. If there's anybody, if anybody has the puck handling skills, it'd either be Kachuk or Marchand, right? Ken, if you're just thinking of random questions, yeah, it's interesting that you brought that up because I watched that before the stream. Yeah, Chucky could probably definitely do it. I don't think Barkov would do it because he'd probably feel like it was showboating. We gotta get Chucky's attitude implanted into Barkov. or at least some part of it, right? Yeah, Chucky looked like he was going to try it a few times, but bailed. Yeah, I can't suspect that Maurice is a big fan of it. David. Oh, y'all too much. Yeah, so if anybody was going to do it, I would think maybe Marchand. Like Marchand could do it. Like he can't get into trouble, right? So maybe if they get on the power play, because Reinhardt's got really good hand-eye coordination. Maybe Marchand can do the thing where the one where they pop it over the net and then Reinhardt knocks it in. I think he knocked one in this year like that, right? Not from behind the net, but I know Reinhardt's knocked some pucks in. So, yeah, that'd be fun. I don't know that Maurice would be a big fan of that. I can't imagine he's going to be a big fan of that. So, yeah. And Kenneth says if Marchand does it, he'll get called for a high stick. Now, is it you're not allowed to have it over the crossbar or over your own shoulder? That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, can you imagine Reinhardt did that in a playoff game? Has there ever been anybody that did that in a playoff game? Because I was watching the video this morning, and they kind of switched it around. They've done the one where from the guy from behind the net flips it up, and then the other guy knocks it in. But they had pretty good footage of the first one. Hey Dana, how you doing? It's not bad. It's a good day. Kyle's not here. Kyle's at his mom's tonight, so we're gonna have the whole house to ourselves tonight. So that'll be nice. Yeah, the Zegras play. Yeah, it's a good video if you guys are interested. It's Hectic Hockey. Oh, well, they don't bang the drum, Simon, until the playoffs. They don't bang the drum until the playoffs. So we're along. We gotta. I don't want to take nothing for granted. You know what I mean? We were looking at that yesterday when the Islanders won their 4 straight. Looking at the point totals. Oh, which by the way. Let me bring that comment up because Kenneth did a lot of work. To, oh, geez. Why am I on Wi-Fi and not on Ethernet? Stupid. There we go. All right. Let me look up this because Kenneth did a lot of work. And he went over what I did yesterday, picking the season schedule game by game. And he left a comment and broke down what I said. So I'll show it here. Wait, where's the comment? Here we go. Okay. So yesterday on the stream, I broke down. I just went game by game, and I just said 2 points, 1 point, no points. Right? I didn't get anything else. I just wanted to see how close I could get to an actual reasonable point total by just guessing. And so Kenneth broke it down. So what he said was my prediction, which he said 53, 19, and 10 for 116 points, which is definitely probably 10 points more than I would have picked if I would have just said, this is how many points I think they're going to get. I don't even know if I would have said 106, but, 102, 4, 6, maybe. So that's definitely 10 points higher than I would have picked. So against the East, I had us going 34, 9, and 7. Now, where I really went and got optimistic was against the Metro. I was 18, 3, and 3. So we were 3-0 against Washington, the Rangers, Carolina, and Columbus. 2-1-1 against Philly, 2-1 against the Islanders, 1-1-1 against New Jersey, and 1-1-1 against Pittsburgh. So I got a little carried away there with we're not going to lose any games to Washington, the Rangers, Carolina, or Columbus. That might be most of those 10 points I was high are probably in there. Now, against the Atlantic, I wasn't too far from what I think we would end up at. Against the Atlantic, I had 16, 6, and 4. Against Buffalo, 3-1, Tampa, 3-1, Montreal, 2-0-1, Toronto, 2-1-1, Ottawa, 2-1-1, Detroit, 2-1-1, and Boston, 2-1. I think those are pretty reasonable, except I'd be surprised if we didn't lose at least one regulation game to Montreal, since they beat us every time last year. Now, against the West, it was pretty good, 19, 10, and 3. Against the Central, I was 11, 4, and 1. Okay-ish. St. Louis, Chicago, Utah, and Nashville, all 2-0 again. Winnipeg, 1-1. Dallas, 1-1. Colorado, 1-1. Minnesota, 0-1-1. So could we lose a game to Utah, Nashville, or the Blues? Possible. Maybe there's maybe that's a little high. Maybe. Against the Pacific, I feel good about it. I said Edmonton, Calgary, and San Jose, we'd be 2-0. Anaheim, 1-0-1. Seattle, 1-1. Vegas, 0-1-1. Vancouver, 0-2. And LA, 0-2. So I feel pretty good about that. So I kind of feel like if I had to shave 16 points off to say 100 points, I would shave like 8 points off the Metro. I'd shave 2 points off of the Atlantic, and then I might have been a little bit high against the Central, to where Chicago, St. Louis, Utah, Nashville, I've got a 6-0 against those teams, or 8-0 against those teams, maybe 6-2, 5-3, probably a little bit more realistic. So, but I'm going to leave it. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that was my prediction. So when it comes time to do the season preview, I think I'll just stick with that. I know it's a bit high, but I kind of feel like since I already did it, it would kind of feel like cheating to go back and be like, well, I didn't really mean it, and it don't mean nothing. So I think I'm just going to leave it. Minthal says, what got me into hockey and so passionate about it compared to other sports? So what contributed to me being so passionate about hockey was the consistent and constant letdown from the Dolphins. Over time, my allegiance shifted. Hockey came in 93, loved it. Cup came in, and we lost the cup, right? And then I got busy making kids, and I wasn't as involved as I would have been with hockey, but I still watched football. And then at some point, I just kind of like said, why am I giving football the attention? I'd rather give it to hockey. And so that was about 2008, 2009. Panthers weren't still really good, but the Dolphins had just been bad for so long. I just kind of just started shifting my allegiance a little bit, and then a lot of it. Now it's to the point where somebody was asking me if it meant the Panthers didn't win the cup or whatever it was like some kind of choice between the Dolphins winning the cup and the Panthers winning 3 more. It was like a no-brainer or whatever. I want the Dolphins to do well, but until they get rid of Stephen Ross. But I think just hockey's just a better sport, especially if you go to the games. I like, and they haven't really watered down the product of hockey in the same way that they have with football. Like, they've gotten a little bit more tough with worrying about concussions and everything like that. But football is just turned into garbage half the time, where you just breathe on the quarterback and it's 15 yards. And if you guys watch the games with us, the classic games, and you watch Marino just getting blasted, if he has a 10-play drive with 7 passes, 3 of them, every drive is what today would be 15 yards roughing the quarterback, and it was just part of the normal game. So football's kind of ruined itself that way, where hockey, it's a little bit tamer, there's no doubt, but they haven't done anything stupid like outlaw fighting and it's still pretty much, come playoff time, it's still pretty much, do what you want. You know what I mean? Colin says, I think being in the range of 98 to 104, 105 points should be good enough. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would have originally picked. But since I did it that way, I'm not gonna no takesy backsies. You know what I mean? Meadow says, I have us getting 99 points this year. I think we're seeing a very similar season to last year. Might be low because our schedule is lighter, but we still have those coasting games. Yeah, I just wonder how it's going to be with that long break with the Olympics and how many guys we got going. But then the guys that are not going should get some rest. So be real. Every year is different, right? I don't know. I kind of feel like we all expect them to do the same thing as they did last year. And they might, but they might not. They might surprise us. Like they could just reach another level of confidence. You know what I mean? It's possible. Colin says, just no regular season champs trophy. Yeah, exactly. Mythical says, if I suited up on the 4th line, on chat going fast. If you stood up in the 4th line and had to fight somebody, do I think there's anybody in the league I could take on? I mean, am I allowed to tackle them? Am I allowed to use judo throws? Because if I'm allowed to use judo throws, I can't use my favorite throw, because my favorite throw is Tomoe Nagi. And Tomoe Nagi is when they come at you and you drop back and you put your foot in their stomach and flip them over your head. And I don't think I can put my foot in their stomach with skates on. So that's a problem. But if I'm allowed to use judo throws, I might be able to take somebody on that's like really aggressive and use their body weight and momentum against them, and then try to skate away really fast before he can get up. And then he says, I've always compared the Panthers to the Chiefs while we were in the regular season, and we posted it in gear. Yeah. Look, the Patriots did that a lot too. Patriots would do that within games. Like you'd get to the midway through the 3rd quarter, and New England would be winning like 17-10. 10 or 17-12. And you'd be thinking, hey, we're keeping up with the Patriots. We can do this. This might happen. And then the final score would be like 31-18. They would just flip the switch somewhere in the middle of the third quarter, and they would just steamroll people. Kenneth says, I love statistical stuff. Funny enough, 2 years ago, you used to predict every NFL game. You stopped halfway through the year due to low views, but I had the standings based strictly on my predictions and points for and against. Is that right? Yeah. I forgot about that. That's right. I was predicting every game. That's right. Thank you for reminding me about that, Kenneth. Thank you for reminding me about that. You know I forget most, especially when you've been doing this as long as I have and tried as many different things as I have. You forget. You forget. Yeah, that might be something worth doing this year. I don't have any more options to quit. You know what I mean? So it might be something worth doing this year. Thank you for reminding me about that. David says, guy who got beat up by the ex-hockey player on the golf course manned up and apologized for his behavior on a short vid. That's cool. That's cool. Hey, we all get drunk and do stupid things, except I've never been drunk and did anything stupid. I got stupid and got drunk, but I've never been drunk and done anything stupid. I've only been actually drunk once in my life. It was me and a girlfriend and Brother Gene, and it was a double date. And we were supposed to go out to dinner, but we had stuff for margaritas first. So I had a margarita, Gene had a margarita. And because I don't drink, I was just like, and I wouldn't shut up. So my girlfriend got pissed at me, and her girlfriend went to go get ice cream and was supposed to bring me back some ice cream to sober me up. Well, I was so perturbed. I'm like 21. So like I was so pissed at her that she was pissed at me for having a margarita, that while they were gone getting ice cream, me and Brother Gene, we finished the whole bottle of tequila in triple sec. We just kept making and gone. Because they were gone for like an hour, wherever the hell they went, obviously, I don't know. But they came back, and I spent the whole night trying to throw up in the toilet, but I couldn't throw up. So, and that's the only time I've actually ever been drunk. Alcohol just doesn't agree with my body at all. I never really got into it. Favorite 5 teams against the Panthers? Well, I'm going to enjoy the Boston games, that's for sure. Going to enjoy the Boston games. I enjoy the Ottawa games as long as Kachuk doesn't do anything stupid, Kachuk, right? The Montreal games are a pain in the ass nowadays. I used to like it. Montreal just used to be an automatic win. We'd go out there and put 6 up against Monty and call it a night. That's changed. Anthony, I mean, technically, yes, but there's no room. There's no room. Like, even with Kachuk out, the second line is Bennett with Rodriguez and Samoskevich. You know what I mean? There's no room for anybody. If somebody got hurt and Kachuk was on LTIR until the playoffs, we'd have money to replace somebody. But in terms of roster spots, there's no room for anybody. Oh, Spaceman wants to know, which NHL arena would I love to visit? I hate to admit this, but Vegas. I wouldn't mind experiencing that. Well, I've never been to Vegas. I've never been. I've lived a lot of life, and that's one place I've never because when I grew up, we just hopped on the little Laker Airways. I don't know if any of you are old enough to remember that, but we would just take Freddie Laker Airways from Fort Lauderdale over to the Bahamas. I mean, there was We used to go, for a 2-week vacation every year for free. And then I'd go 35, 40 weeks out of the year. I'd go over there on a Friday night. So I never needed, like in my youth, hey, let's go take the red eye to Vegas. I'm like, it's an 18-minute flight to Freeport. We just go do that. Yeah, bang, bang, bang. David says, I fought 5 cops when I was drunk. Well, you got beat down by 5 cops. Yeah. You apologize to all of them and thank them for whooping me and not pressing charges. Oh, you're lucky, man. You're lucky. Anthony, we don't have to trade him if Chucky's on LTIR. As long as Tkachuk is on LTIR, Rodriguez we have enough room for him on the team. And I would not anticipate any moves happening until the day comes where Zito is forced to do it. Because if Tkachuk's on LTIR until January and somebody else gets hurt and they're on LTIR until the playoffs, we would have never had to move Rodriguez. So my guess is that they had a conversation with Rodriguez. I said this when it happened. My guess is that they said, do you want to take the chance that we can keep you the whole year? Or do you want us to move you now to a team that would give you you would be there? That would be my guess, is that they talked to him and gave him the option. And I think anybody's, I think we all would know that the choice there would be like, I'll take my chances that I can stay the whole year. Because we don't know what's going to happen with Tkachuk. And, what if somebody else gets hurt during the Olympics and they're out to the playoffs? So I don't think we're going to make any moves. It could happen, but my opinion is that we're not going to make any moves until it's like the last possible minute. It's like, damn it, we have no choice but to do this. Kenneth, you've been to more Vegas games and Leaf games? David says, I tried to fight Hulk Hogan when I was drunk once. It was a wall poster, so you only broke your hand. That's funny. Spaceman, yeah, just don't spoil it. Yeah, that's what we're doing next week. The classic Dolphin game is the Dolphins-Jets Monday night game. That should be enough. If you're a Dolphin fan, you know what game I'm talking about. Kyle doesn't know. He doesn't know. Poor kid. I'm abusing him. I did let him see Marino win his last game, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know. So that's the game I think that's going to be Tuesday night. Should be Tuesday night. David, the Habs games should be fun too. Oh, what's that? Anthony says, if I had to choose to wear an old school jersey of any other NHL team, not the Panthers, the one that I have, Jameson sent me the Kachina, the Phoenix Coyotes. Honestly, if I wasn't a Panther fan, I would never take that jersey off. That's an easy one for me. Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. She says, hope you're having a good summer. Been busy. Bitcoin is at 120. That's good. That means my $100 went up. I never took the money out of Coinbase, Amanda. I left it in there. So let me know when I can retire. I started with $100. Let me know when I can retire. I wish I would have had more to put in, but that's okay. Let me know when I can retire. I don't need much. Thank you again, Amanda. Good to see you. LA Kings used to have purple and yellow as their colors. Kenneth says, if you're not a Dolphins fan, just a football fan, you're old enough to know Jets Dolphins Monday night. I know. I mean, bruh. Just I don't remember what year. I don't even remember what year it was, but I know I watched it. And you're just like, at that point, you weren't even like surprised. Like, yeah, that tracks. That tracks. But poor Kyle. Yeah, the old Bruins jerseys are good too. Meadow, yeah, you're in the ballpark. You are correct. Hey, Jameson, how you doing, bud? Yeah, man. Other than my Panther stuff, that's far and away my favorite jersey. I always find an excuse to wear it in the skip videos. You know what I mean? So, but I think that joke got a little bit old at some point, but is what it is. Yeah, Metal, that Jets game was something else. Oh, and maybe I should do the year we kept the Bears from being perfect. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. I won't do him. I won't make him watch any of the Dolphins Bills playoff games. I won't make him watch that. Hey, this is really maybe this is evil. Maybe this is evil. But should I make him watch 62-7? I spent 62-7. Believe that's what it was. The Jacksonville game. I spent that. He was here, and I was in the rocking chair. He was born in March of '99, so he wasn't even a year old. And he watched that game with me, and I was in the rocking chair. Should I make him watch that? Yeah, the Whalers jerseys are nice too. That's a good one. Yeah. The old school Sharks jerseys. Yeah. Spaceman, what was my favorite playoff moment this year? I think the comeback against Toronto in Game 3. Because I think at that point, I at that point was like, oh, crap. Because we're down 2-0 in the series. They made it 3-1, and we looked like garbage. And I picked up my weights, and I pointed to the championship sign. I said, at least they can't take that away from us. Because I thought it was over, man. And then it wasn't. So I don't know if there was a particular moment in that game, but that game changed everything. That comeback changed everything. The Marchand overtime, right? There was some pretty good moments there. Trying to think, the Marchand overtime, that was pretty much up there. Yeah. Spaceman says yours was the empty Toronto arena in Game 7. Yeah, I can understand that for sure. And then they threw the beer on the ice. Yeah. Yeah, with some good ones. Carolina's series wasn't all that. The Tampa and Carolina series weren't really, heart thumping. You know what I mean? The Toronto one certainly was. And Edmonton was until it wasn't. Right? Colin, yeah, Game 4 that's right, the 2 goals in 17 seconds. Yeah. Yeah, Marchand, a lot of his goals were great, man. So I think Matthias is going to be here. He might be here next weekend. I think it is. Yeah, I got to contact him. I think he's going to be here next weekend. So, no, Kyle's going to his mom's tonight. That's cool. It's good for him to get out of the house. And if she's going to come pick him up, she's taking him somewhere. There's like a paranormal circ or something that they're going to tonight. So they'll have a good time. And so that'll be good. That'll all work out. David says my favorite times when we're here, when everyone here was freaking out about any loss. I can't talk, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's nerve-wracking, man. Like we were in trouble against Toronto, no doubt about that. They had it. I mean, it's 2-0 and a 3-1 lead in the game. I mean, it's right there in your hand. If you go up 3-0, it's going to be real dicey about coming back. You know, they had it right in their hand. So that was nerve-wracking. And I forget which game it was, but at least this year I didn't rip my shoulder to shreds. Because I did in the Boston series, the first Boston series before we lost to Vegas, I was lifting. Boston had scored. And I was lifting, and I was trying to get it to, because a lot of times if I lift longer, we'll score while I'm lifting. And so I was doing my presses, and I just relaxed the shoulders to start coming down. And I got about a third of the way down, and we scored. And I just like lurched up again when we scored. And I didn't tear it off the bone like Chucky, but it took me 6 months of acupuncture and massage to where I didn't feel a sharp pain on the front delt here. And every once in a while, I still feel a little bit of a twinge. This year, I did the same thing, but I didn't re-injure it. But that's because I was lifting with the 15s. When I hurt myself, I did it with the 25s. And I'm too stupid. I shouldn't do that. I was bad because I need the 25s because they're what keeps the recliner from flipping backwards every time I sit in it. So they're important. They have a good job. Hey, Andrew. Has this team relieved my pain of being a Dolphin fan? They've done such a good job, Spaceman, that my theory with the football channel is now good. The Panthers are so good that I can take all my aggressions and bitching and complaining out on the Dolphins, and it'll be viable because they suck. Now, of course, the Dolphins could actually ruin my entire plan and be good, but what are the odds of that happening? So that's my plan, is to just be content with whatever the Panthers do and just bitch and complain about every little thing that the Dolphins do. And in that way, I've got some balance to things. Andrew, yeah, no, I learned my lesson. I do it with the 15s now. You know what I mean? Because I can't control myself. You guys see me jump out of the chair. It's an involuntary response, right? Why is the Hall & Oates plate sideways? Because it won't fit any other way. It looks stupid if it's straight, and it won't fit that way. It's a license. It's a license plate. Yeah. I can't put it on here because we have front and back. We have front and back tags here in Maryland. So I can't put it on the car, on the van. Andrew, yeah, Matthias is doing good. He's done with school. He should be here. He's going to probably spend 4 or 5 nights. He'll be here at some point later on this week and into next weekend. All right, Kenneth. Appreciate you, brother. Colin, yeah, I still got to bitch about Ekblad. Yeah. I mean, I have to complain about something or the team will just drop off a cliff. But Ekblad's usually good for that. There's nobody else to complain about. Like, we just keep getting like these old, crusty defensemen, and they suddenly get good again. And so I can't even complain about that. What's that? David says, also shout out to my homeboy Michael the Grinder Mizrachi for winning the 25 WSOP main event, Broward County home of the champions. That's cool. What is that? What's the WSOP main event? Is that's wrestling something, right? Spaceman, is he going to be on a stream? He might say hi. But without any games or anything like that, you know, we're going to go fishing. He might be on a fishing stream, not a stream, but he might be in a fishing video because I'm going to wear the action camera while we're going out in the kayak. David. Oh, Yeah, it's an involuntary response. Boy, that shoulder hurt me for so long. I was so pissed because usually summer is when I use summer to get back into shapes because I'm not working out as much during the winter and spring. Leia's doing good. She's good, Andrew. I might try her at the river again on Sunday. I tried her in spring and I think it was too windy, too cold. So I might try her again at the river this Sunday, see if she takes to it since it's hot. Kazuma says, I saw a YouTube video of an Oilers fan bitching about the guy that switched jerseys and ranted about how horrible Panther fans are, but when called out about threats to Skinner, he kept quiet. I mean, they just need to enjoy their summer. You know what I mean? And the guy that did that, I think he was a Penguins fan or something. Like he literally just did it to troll people. He's not an Oilers or a Panthers fan. Oh, World Series of Poker. Okay. I thought it was wrestling. It shows you what I know. Gotcha. All right, Kenneth. Have I been more of a dog person? I mean, yeah. Dogs have been my life up until Fluffy passed. And then one day I didn't have any more dogs to take care of. I don't know what the hell to do with myself. So I had to get a girlfriend that has a dog. And I can't afford to move her in. So I still don't have a dog. So it's all right, though. It'll work out. I needed to give myself the break because when I have dogs, it's like the dogs are the life. And then like everything else is like, yeah, I got to work, but I got to hang with the dog. Like the dog becomes the most important thing. It's not the most healthy dynamic in the world. He won $10 million for first and $250,000 bracelet. Nice. There you go. So we had Ellie and Sonia in Florida. That's where we got Ellie and Sonia. And then we moved to an island in the Chesapeake Bay for a year. And we got Fluffy in Delaware. Then we had to move back to Florida. And after about 6 months, I was like, hell no, the St. Bernard ain't going to do well in Florida. And I said, we're moving back to Maryland, and we got this house. So, yeah, that's how that went. Not sure if we're doing tonight or tomorrow night, Andrew. Tonight or tomorrow. I was on the men's channel the night before. I did a men's channel stream 2 nights ago. Last night was here. It just depends on Donna's energy level because she's at work and it's hot. She works in the warehouse. So maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow night. But from the sounds of it, it sounds like she wants to make sure we do it on one of the nights. So we'll just see how her energy level is. When am I getting cats to represent the team? Well, I got the outdoor cats. Colin and I don't want cats. We don't, neither one of us is a big fan of litter boxes. And we leave the doors open a lot for air. So we can't have a house cat because if a house cat that doesn't know how to defend itself gets outside here, we got hawks, we got eagles, we got them big old nasty owls, the ones that eat the brains out of the bunnies. It's not a safe space for house cats out here at all. Occasionally we'll get a coyote. I need some break in my life. Well, it's my job. It's my job. You know what I mean? And I don't make enough money to take a break. But that's been I've been self-employed for 26 years. 26? Yeah. When you're self-employed, a lot of times you don't get a break, but you work for yourself. So it's a balance. You know, I've been in this house 10 years now. It was 10 years on Fluffy's birthday. David said, that's how it should be. A dog, only a small part of your life, but you are the dog's whole life. Pretty much. Yeah. Holy crap. Thank you, Great White. Thank you, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Damn, which, by the way, thank you, brother. Oh, my God. Thank you, man. If you didn't see the stream last night with the gifts, Glenn sent a big blown up photo. He messaged me and he said, hey, he had a way to get photographs blown up and get it printed. And he asked me if I wanted to do one, and I sent it to him, and I forgot about it because it was the middle of the playoffs. And we opened it last night, and I had forgotten that I had done this, and he had offered this. But I'm going to get a frame for it and everything. It's a huge blown up photo. It's the one where the dogs, I'm facing them, and you just see all their backs. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So I got to get it. I'm going to flatten it out and get a frame for it. Probably going to need a custom frame. But we're definitely going to find a place to display that for sure. Thank you again, Great White. Thank you, man. Kazuma, yeah, it's like I'm living in mini Australia. Yeah, it's not. It's for small animals, it's not great. You saw a video of Marino eating something out of the Stanley Cup. That's cool. Great White, yeah. That's what I said. Because she didn't see it. I said, when you see this, you're going to cry. I forgot. I don't remember shit anymore. You know what I mean? And so he had messaged me during the playoffs, and he asked me. I immediately knew which picture. And, that picture, that's one of those moments in life, man, where you're consciously aware of what you're doing. Like a lot of the videos and all of that, I was just making videos. But that picture, we're sitting there, and I was like, I need to take this picture. I'm going to look back on this picture. Like I knew I was creating something a little bit different. Like there was a different motivation behind it. Because I could have spent 1,000 hours with them in that spot. With the girls would be right there and Fluffy would be sitting right next to me. I mean, that was life. That was life. And eventually I'll have dogs and all of that again. But right now it works out. Leia comes, and when she moves in, she'll be here and all of that. But that took too much out of me last year. It just took too much out of me last year to start with the puppies and all of that, because I'm not capable of just having one. And now I know I won't have two, because if you have two and one dies, apparently. So now when I ever recommit to my own animals, it's going to be 3 at a time at all times, so that if one goes, like when Sonia passed, Ellie and Fluffy had each other. And, but as soon as Ellie went, Fluffy was like, deuces. It was unbelievable. So not ready. I could blame it on money, but it wouldn't. If I had tons of money, that's not why I'm. You know what I mean? Just not ready yet. At some point. Simon, I haven't seen the cats in a couple of weeks, but something is eating the food. So I think they might be coming really late at night. But sometimes during the summer, they'll disappear for 2 or 3 weeks at a time and then make it back around. So I'll let you know when I see them again. It's been a few weeks since I actually saw them. And then when it's cold, like the one cat will be there on the top of the stairs every night, like 5 o'clock before the sun goes down. He's like, "Where's my food? You got my food?" But he won't let me near him. Kyle's good, Andrew. He's at his mom's tonight, so he's going to go have some fun. I think they're going to like a paranormal thing, so that's good. They'll have a good time. All right, everybody, I got to roll. I got to get my eBay work done. I got to clean the house because Donna's going to be here. So I have to, I have to pretend that we keep the house up pretty good, right? All right, everybody. Thank you very, very much for all the love and support, all the super chats. You guys make this happen, and I genuinely mean that. Ain't no joke about that. So I don't know when the Inappropriate Conversation stream is going to be. I'll let you know when I know, because it's going to be a spur of the moment thing either tonight or tomorrow night. And but I do have the men's videos still coming out at least once or twice a day over there. And then that's it. We'll be back here Monday at noon unless something happens. So, all right, everybody. Appreciate all the love and support. I shall see you again very, very soon.